Hey, what's up? Happy Wednesday. I can't believe it's already 4:30 on Wednesday. This day has like literally flown by. And I have been super busy at different networking meetings and doing some planning things. It's been great. So the only bummer about today is it's just been like really rainy here in Portland. And we've been really, which sounds funny because in Portland it rains a lot. But we've been kind of lucky in that we haven't had a lot of these days where it's like cold and rainy. So usually in December and January, and sometimes a little bit in February, we have these like really yucky, rainy, cold days, right? And we had this amazing like winter so far. Like it's either been snowy or it's kind of been sunny. And January was like strangely super warm. And then February, just a couple weeks ago, we got some snow. I mean, that was just last week. I think we got some snow. And so this week it's all kind of melted, but it's still kind of cold. So now we're doing the typical Oregon weather, and I'm just kind of cranky about it because I was kind of liking the nice spring/winter we were having. Anyway, welcome. If you happen to be joining me live, please say hello. As I do every Wednesday, I'm just having fun chatting with y'all and drinking some wine. So if you do join me, tell me what you're drinking, and let's just chat about whatever we feel like chatting about. And I usually have a little couple things that have been on my mind that I like to chat about, and maybe even celebrate with y'all whatever I'm celebrating for the day. So in fact, I think what I should do just for the fun of it, because I have been lately on Instagram more often. And so I have my bottle of wine next to me right here, right next to the computer. And I think what I might do is just take a quick picture. So double my efforts here and like look through the mirror looking glass and take a picture of myself taking a picture with the wine. Let's see if I can kind of do it like this way. There we go. You can barely tell that. Oh, and look at my iPhone storage is full, which is crazy because my iPhone storage there's a lot of it. So I think what happens is I tend to, I have like all this memory on my, or all these podcasts I listen to, and I have so many. And what I'll do sometimes is we'll automatically download, and then I forget to delete them even when I've listened like almost all the way through. It's not quite all the way to the end. So if you listen to all the way to the end, like, you know, through them saying goodbye and saying, please subscribe and, you know, say hi on iTunes, all that stuff. Sometimes I won't listen to the very like last minute, and then it doesn't delete it automatically. But if you do, it will delete automatically. So anyway, I just need to go through my phone. It's one of those like little details that I hate doing. It's like the cleaning up after yourself. You know, you have to take dishes downstairs when you bring your big bowl of popcorn up there and you eat popcorn in bed. Do you guys eat popcorn in bed? Last night I was laughing at myself because I went to like 4 hours of dance class. I went, 4 hours of exercise. I had an hour workout, and then I had an hour dance class in the middle of the day. And then I went again for 2 hours in the nighttime. It was great. I was so like, I went to bed last night going, this is just awesome. Like I was just so happy. And so I highly recommend, like, do what you love. Do what you love all day long. That's why I'm doing this Wine with Wednesday. That's why I do my chocolate for breakfast. So, but anyway, I'm really tangenting on my tangents here. So the point is that I was so happy to be in bed after going to all that dance, and I was just like not in the mood to eat like a full dinner. So I just made myself some popcorn and brought it up with my favorite new candy that I told you guys about. I just like sat in bed and ate candy and watched a little bit of The Voice, which I totally fell asleep to. But it was just like mindless entertainment. I just needed like some mindless stuff because I tend to get into the storytelling when I'm watching a movie or a TV show, which I love, but I kind of like tend to be thinking about it. And then, you know, obviously the other thing I often will do is watch a YouTube video or watch, you know, I have so many YouTube vids that I watch on business strategy and marketing strategy. And I love that stuff. I geek out on it, but like, I need my mind to rest because my body also needed to rest. And so, you know, my brain was at overload, but at super fun load too. So anyway, let's talk about the wine that I got. So I'm so excited about this wine. It's a Barbera, and it's from the Alder Ridge vineyard, which is really close by here. So for those of you who don't know Oregon, Washington, or Portland is at the very northern part of the state of Oregon. And the Columbia River, which is this huge river, separates us from Washington State. And so on the north side, or excuse me, on the north side of us, on the other side of the river, just across the river though, so it kind of feels like it's in our neighborhood, is the Columbia Valley where they grow the grapes. And the guy who started this winery picks the grapes over there from select vineyards that he really likes and then makes this wine. And so I've been told this one is super delicious. The guy who started it is this guy who actually used to work, used to own a restaurant here in town. So when I first got married, I was down on Sellwood, which is this area of Portland. And there was a little restaurant there called Assaggio's. And then he sold it off, and then the owners who bought it from him kind of ran it to the ground. So then it got closed. But it was a really amazing restaurant. And it was really like this delicious Italian restaurant. So apparently he's tried a couple other things. I think he started working for a wine distributor, maybe, or another winemaker. And then he decided to start making his own wines. So he no longer is in the restaurant biz, but obviously he has a lot of friends in the biz and interested in food and wine in general, clearly. And so anyway, the gal who, I got this from the mom and pop shop. I talked about them last week, but I'll also put the link in the description below. But the mom and pop shop is this great little wine shop here in Portland and Northeast. And they do a good job of picking out sort of these unique wines from a lot of local distributors. And what I really like about them is a lot of their wines are really pretty affordable for what you're getting. And so anyway, when I bought this wine, she was saying that every single wine that she's tried from this guy is really, really good. Like, she's like, usually there's one or two in the bunch that are kind of like, eh. She said, but this one is really delicious. So I can't wait to give it a try. So I can only have a little bit though, because I am going to a dinner tonight with some friends from Pregame. And I know I've talked about Pregame before, but for those of you who don't know, Pregame is like a local, I'll call it an entrepreneur club. But basically what it is basically just, it's not like your typical entrepreneur club. It's a really fun environment where you learn all kinds of stuff about business. And it's great. I don't really want to call it networking, because it's not really networking. You're basically in an environment where you're kind of learning together, and you're kind of like brainstorming together. And so what's really awesome about it is not only you're getting great feedback from people you trust, but then you're also kind of learning more on a deeper level about someone else's business. And so it makes it so much easier for us to refer business to each other. So it's like the networking happens, but it's more natural because you just feel like you have like this group of friends that you can count on. It's like a community. And if you're a business owner, man, I'm telling you, you need a community. And a lot of these communities that say they are a community are really just more of a networking group. And this is really more of a community. And I think what I've found is I've joined a lot of networking groups and mastermind groups, and sometimes they just take up more time than you truly feel like you're like feeling like you have a connection with them, right? And so it's really interesting. I think I've mentioned this before on my video, but a lot of my networking groups that I belong to, a lot of the mastermind groups I belong to, have kind of fallen apart. And I don't know if falling apart is quite the right word, but they've dissipated, like for different reasons. They just have not continued. And so anyway, it's kind of sad. There's, but at the same time, like, I'm excited about what's in the future, because there's new stuff. There's new stuff in the future, new stuff to happen. And in the meantime, I've got Pregame. It's kind of like my peeps, my community of peeps. And so I really love it. So if any of you are in Portland and you are interested in some kind of community that supports you in your business, then I highly recommend it, and reach out to me and let me know, and I'll bring you as a guest to one of the events. And what I love about it too, it's not just like, these aren't like super sophisticated, like high-tech business peeps. I mean, there's a couple people in there that are like that maybe, but it's a wide variety of people. And a lot of us like sort of have creative interests, I think that's what I like about it, is a lot of us have that sort of creative expression side of us. And so it's definitely my peeps. I think it's because Ciara is that way too. She's the owner of Pregame. So anyway, I can't even remember what the tangent of the tangent of the tangent is, but let's get to trying this wine. So it's a beautiful dark color. Interesting. Looks pretty. I think I've got some wine on my chin. All right, let's give this a try. Mm. Ooh. Oh, I really like this. Mhm. Okay, wow. It's a really nice, rich wine. Okay, so I typically like a little bit lighter wine that is light in color and light on the tongue and like more like a light fruity, not necessarily sweet, but like sort of fruit forward. This is fruit forward, but it's like very berry flavored. It's very berry and it's like almost like a deep berry, like almost jammy, I would say, but not too jammy, not like a jammy Zinfandel. Like a jammy Zinfandel is a little bit heavier than this is. This is, oh my God, this is amazing. I feel like I'm drinking grape juice. Wow, I don't even know if I can think of a wine that I've had like this. This is incredible. Okay, guys, this is one in a million. Highly recommend this Barbera from, again, Alder Ridge Vineyard. And one thing I will also say is Barbera's, at least the ones I've had, have been a little bit lighter than this. And this is interesting because I wouldn't call this heavy, but it's not, it's definitely not like any Barbera I've ever had either. Oh my God, it's so good. So I also thought, because it's that time, I would break out my Girl Scout cookies. So, love the Girl Scout cookies. It's that time of year. My friend Tara's daughter is a Girl Scout, and she sent me a text and she said, "Hey Jen, do you want to buy some Girl Scout cookies?" And I was like, "Duh!" Like these are my favorite. Samoas are like the best. And what's so funny, I have to say, is that my husband brought home a box of these and a box of Thin Mints one night, and I must have gotten home late that night because I barely remember this. But like he gave me Samoa, and I wasn't in for the Thin Mints. So I was like, nah. I mean, I like Thin Mints, but these are the bomb. And so anyway, so he gave one to me, and I totally forgot about it. And like 3 days later, my daughter was taking the Thin Mints out of the freezer, and because they're so, by the way, if you like Thin Mints, even better in the freezer. They're so good. And hey, Lily Ma, welcome, welcome. So good to see you here. And so anyway, the Thin Mints are so good in the freezer. And she was taking out a box, and I said, "Oh my God, like where did those come from?" Like, and they were kind of looking at me like, I bought those for you a couple days ago along with a box of Samoas. I was like, "What? You got a box of Samoas too?" And John was like, "Yeah, don't you remember you had one?" I was like, "Oh my God, I totally forgot. Where are they?" And Laura looked at me and she was like, yeah, they're gone." And so she ate them all. She basically hid them out in her room and ate them all in whatever, a few days. And so I was like, "What?" I was so bummed that she ate all my cookies. So I'm curious if you have a favorite Girl Scout cookies. Most people that I talk to really love Samoas, but if you're not a coconut person, you may not like these. Or you may like them. If you normally don't like coconut, you might still like these because they're just so good with the toasted coconut and the caramel and a little bit of the cookie. It's just all so good together. It'd be so easy to sit down and eat a box of these. And I'm normally somebody who I really prefer a darker chocolate in general. I wouldn't call this a milky chocolate necessarily. Like it's not super milk-like, but it's not super dark at all. But I love these. And what was I going to say? Dang it, I forgot what I was going to say about this. Oh, I was just going to say, so when my friend texted me, I was like, "Yes, I need 3 boxes." And she was like, "Okay." And I told her, and she's like, "Oh, you didn't share them with me?" I'm like, "No, you didn't share with me." So I did. I said, "Okay, well, you can have 1 box and I'll have the other 2. So I'm like literally hiding these in my room. So I'm going to have one right now because I want to see what it tastes like with the wine. And I am leaving tonight. I think I just mentioned that, for a dinner. It's kind of a fairly early dinner for me. And so I can't have too much. I can't have too much wine. I can't have too much Samoas because, I've got food coming. But Lily, are you drinking anything? I want to know if you're having a beverage, and if so, what it is. And I'm telling you, I was telling everybody else I'm having this Barbera that's made here locally on the Washington side of the Columbia River. And oh my God, it's unbelievable. It is so good. I haven't had a wine like this in so long, so I'm going to see how it tastes with the cookie. I just have a feeling it's going to bring out the berry flavors of the wine. So let's try. Let's give it a go. Okay, here we go. Mm-hmm. Ooh, it's really nice. And in fact, actually, it kind of brings out the more tannins in the wine rather than the berry flavor. That kind of surprises me. I bet it's going to be really good with food. I cannot wait to have more of this later tonight. Because I can't just drink it all right here and right now because I'm going somewhere, which actually reminds me of one of the ideas that actually Jay sent me. I tweeted out this video, which I thought was really cute and clever, that one of my favorite copywriters that I follow, her name is Joanna Wiebe, and she has the website Copy Hackers, such great stuff on it. And she had this video from some copywriting convention thing that she had gone to where they had taped all these different copywriters taking a swig of whiskey and then giving their best copywriting advice. And then they put it all together into this one video. And I just thought it was so clever. And so I posted on Twitter, and then Jay's like, oh, it's kind of like your Wine with Wednesday. I'm like, yeah, except for I don't necessarily get drunk on Wine with Wednesday. So it might be kind of fun to do that sometime where I'm, drinking a whole bunch all at once. I don't know, maybe we should try whiskey or like a tequila. I love tequila, by the way. That might be the way to do it, is like do some whiskey shots and then talk about whatever my subject is for the day. So anyway, the other reason why I wanted to bring up the Girl Scout cookies is I have a friend on Facebook, and he's really awesome. His name is Yasmin, and he has a new podcast out there. And I think it's called Gratitude Hacks. I'm going to have to I'll find it and put it in the description below. And anyway, the reason I bring this up is he's always doing these really cool things. Like, he's just really like thoughtful, doing exercises of gratitude and talking about how to give to others in business and things like that. And so one of the things that he said that he did recently is he was at the grocery store, and there was a Girl Scout who was looking really sad, and he walked up to her and said, "Why are you looking so sad?" And she's like, "Well, no one's buying my cookies today." And he said, he's like, "Well, how come? What are they telling you?" And she said, "Well, they're all telling me that they're trying to eat healthy and they're trying to not eat cookies and they're on a diet and that kind of thing." And he said, "Well, you know what?" He's like, "I have a treat for you." He said, "Why don't I let you give out cookies to some people you feel like you would love to give cookies to?" And so he gave her $20 so that she could give away 4 boxes of the Girl Scout cookies to people that she met there at the store. And I thought that was so cool. And then she got so excited because she was able to give stuff away to people as for whatever reason she wanted to give it away. And I thought that was really cool because it kind of gave somebody else the feeling of what it's like to be generous, right? To be giving in your business. And I thought that was really, really cool. It's actually making me tear up just to think about how cool that was, that he not only was giving to her, but then he gave the gifts to her of giving. And so that was just really cool. So Yasmin, really cool thing that inspired me to think about other ways that I can inspire others to do things for themselves. For me, I'm really a big fan and believer of having pleasure in your life. And it's one of the messages I'm always talking about, because I really believe that we don't enjoy the simple pleasures in life enough. And if we can enjoy all those little pleasures that we have, then we can start enjoying all the bigger pleasures too, right? It gives us a little bit of momentum to enjoy life, essentially, is kind of what I feel. And so anyway, speaking of podcasts, another podcast that I was listening to was James Altucher, which I'm always talking about him. He's like one of my favorite podcasters. He's so awesome. And he was had a guest on who is this kind of famous coach. I had never heard, well, actually I shouldn't say I'd never heard of her. I've heard of her name. I don't know if I could place who she is. So I'm going to look her up because I haven't had a chance to do that since I've listened to the podcast, which was just earlier today. And the podcast is actually, I think, from a couple weeks back. So her name's Cheryl Richardson. And it was just towards the end of the podcast episode, and she was talking about how she really believes in enjoying pleasures in life. And one of the things that she did as an exercise for a whole year, which I just love this, is that she would write down at the end of the day 10 ways that she was able to give herself pleasure that day. So it could be something like taking a bubble bath, or it could be like something that she ate, or it could be like she went for a walk and really enjoyed the wind on her face, like whatever it was, 10 things that gave her pleasure in that day. And then she was able to go back and look at that and see what kinds of pleasure she had in the day. And I thought that was so awesome. I think that's just being so conscious and aware of the things that make you happy. And one of the things that she said, which I think is so true, if you think about like, what are some like 10 things that made you super happy today or that gave you pleasure today? They're probably all kind of simple, small things, right? They could be like eating a Girl Scout cookie or drinking a glass of really new, delicious, awesome wine, or having a conversation with a friend, or dancing at a dance class. Listening to a cool podcast and hearing one of your favorite songs on the radio, like whatever it is. And so some of these pleasures that we have are so free and available to us, and they're like the biggest pleasures we have in our life, right? And they're like so small. And a lot of them are things that we are able to enjoy because of our bodies, that we are able to feel these things in our body, whether it's tasting something or seeing something or feel the wind on our face or whatever it is. And what a miracle that our body is, right? And so anyway, I just totally love this concept and thought it was really cool. And so I thought, how can I do that for other people, like what Yasmin did for that girl? I'm totally brainstorming that. So if you guys have any thoughts or ideas, please send them my way. I just totally love that. And if there's a way that you can do that in your business, in whatever kind of your why is, your big kind of like mission that you're trying to help people with, I think you can do that in simple ways and inspire that in other people. So thank you, Yasmin, for that. I thought that was really, really cool. And so anywho, I should probably get going because I have this dinner event to go to tonight. But I promise you, I'm going to finish this cookie later. Not that you're worried about it. And have a little bit more of this wine that is absolutely amazing. Oh my God. Highly recommend. And if I can, what I'll also do in the description below is, obviously I'll put the wine in there, but I'll also put, if I can figure out who else might be carrying it, or where you might be able to order online, because obviously if you're not local here in the Portland or Vancouver, Washington area, it may not be as easily accessible to you, but I'm sure there's a way for you to get it. So, and I highly recommend it for a treat for yourself. All right. Thanks, you guys. Happy Wednesday. Lily, thank you for stopping by and saying hello. And we will see you on Saturday morning for a chocolate for breakfast. I don't even know what I'm going to do yet, but I will surprise y'all and myself. Okay. See you later. Bye.